Yes, guys, welcome to another Level Up Network podcast. Before we get into the podcast, I want to give a shout out to Resonates Media for making this all possible. My guy Rick behind the camera, what a legend. We are shooting this from Level Up Gyms, and today's podcast is going to be a bit different. We are joined by a co-host, Kyle. Thank you, Kyle, for coming on today and helping with this podcast. I really appreciate it. And today's podcast is going to be a bit different. So, today's conversation is about turning pain into power and how mindset, discipline, purpose can change everything. We're joined by someone who's lived it, and his name is Lewis Nickson, and he's the founder of PolyUp and a strong voice for men's mental health. So, thank you for coming on, Lewis.
All right. Good to be here.
Yeah, it's great to have you with us. So I want to jump straight in, and first of all, I'd like to know a little bit of background about who you are and yourself and what you do.
I'm Lewis Nickson, I'm Managing Director of PolyUp Limited. We are a sports and safety servicing company who came out of the King's Trust, supported by, funded by, and now we, as of next month, we are travelling the world installing safety surfaces. So
In summary, mega.
Yeah.
Shout out to the King's Trust as well.
Shout out to the King's Trust.
Cool. Come on. Yeah, obviously we both met, didn't we, for the King's Trust event? And then realised, wow, we actually worked down the road from each other. PolyUp, Level Up, it was meant to be, you know what I mean?
Similar colours on the logos were flying.
Similar
shapes.
Similar shapes.
Similar shape.
Great observation from Kyle.
We love shapes. We love shapes, we do.
Yeah. So today's topic's going to be a bit about mental health. Obviously, you're an advocate and you're quite passionate about mental health. Yeah. And so I thought it would be great to have you on and get some of your insight and maybe a bit of background about how you've dealt with mental health, because it's a real thing and a lot of people are suffering in silence, and especially amongst men. I know the stats are much higher for men. And so it'd be great to sort of, in summary, get a little bit of background about your journey through mental health and how you've overcome.
Okay, cool. So I suppose mental health for me started at quite a young age. So my mum and dad broke up when I was 6 years old, which was a traumatic experience. My dad was an alcoholic, not a horrible, violent alcoholic, just a lovely man who enjoyed having a bevy, and unfortunately he had too many of them. So he split up when I was 6, and then so that was quite hard on me as a 6-year-old. But then when I was 7, my mum met a new partner, and things started really well. But I suppose from a mental health standpoint, this is where things really started to happen. And later on in life, I was diagnosed with PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, because of what I'm about to tell you now. So he was physically violent with my mum, and there was a number of occasions where he would punch my mum's head in, to the point where you couldn't even see her face. 7 years old, and this man's laying his hands on my mum, and I've got my little brother who's 2.5 years younger than me. And anyway, that was just kind of, at some point throughout being 7, became the norm. So maybe once a week, my mum would get hided. But when I got to 8 and we moved to Jamesbrook Council Estate, things got a lot worse. And one night, we were driving out. I'd stayed at my grandma and granddad's for the weekend, which we did quite often, probably once every 2 weeks. And we were coming down Cemetery Road on the way home on a Sunday night. And I remember this like it was yesterday, because I can relive it, and that's part of PTSD, is that sometimes I'll be taken back to these situations and they can affect me. And I've never spoken about this, but I think it's important to speak about it. and now I'm more in control of my mental state, I think it's probably the right time. So we were on our way home, and we seen my stepdad, if you want to call him, walking home. So my granddad had no idea what was going on, by the way. Didn't know his daughter was getting hit by this man. Others, ex, pulled up, get in. Picked him up, took him home. Nice as pie, like dead friendly with my granddad, no issues whatsoever. Got home, granddad left, and then all hell broke loose. It got to a point where my mum was cooking food with a hot pan. He basically went to throw the hot boiling water on me mum. We had a door that he took off the hinges probably about 4 or 5 weeks prior. He had her head and he was bashing the door against the head. He smashed me little brother's favourite fire engine, and all whilst I'm trying to stop him from doing that with me little brother. Like,
how old were you at this point?
I was 8. But it gets worse than that. So he actually got a piece of glass out the door and sliced my mum's arm. And that's when I ran to the neighbours, and the neighbours came, and the police were involved. But unfortunately, when women and men are in domestic abuse relationships, they can't get out. I can't remember the terminology for it. There's a terminology for it, and I can't remember what it's called.
Was it Stockholm syndrome? No, is that where you like?
No,
I
can't remember what it is. You might be right. But anyway, one night we're coming back from somewhere, I can't remember, on the promenade, and it was when Ocean Plaza was being built. So all of the seawall, all of the thing, it was all just scaffolding and fencing. So none of that was there. And it was probably about 11 o'clock at night. So we'd probably been at a pub somewhere. He loved a bevy. So we were coming back from Woodvale, so on the right at the front, and we were coming past. Anyway, him and my mum were arguing. I'm in the back, and then he just randomly on the way back, he just full on elbows her in the face, nose bust straight open. I'm screaming. On the little turn in to the beach where Ocean Plaza is now, so like the main entry point, he was in a Honda Prelude, a white Honda Prelude with pop-up lights, and he took us onto the beach and he drove out to sea. And when we got out to sea, he said, "Get out the fucking car." Sorry for swearing, by the way.
No, it's fine.
Mute that. He said, "Get out the car." And we got out the car. But as my mum's getting out the car, he's grabbed hold of her dress and ripped it. So my mum's now bra and knickers, like fully, pretty much naked. And he said, "Run." So that consisted of me and my mum, and I'm probably about 9 now, running towards the seawall from the beach, and he is running us over, like donutting, running us over. My mum's trying to protect me whilst getting me and her off the beach. So he's trying to kill us at this point. So we eventually, he must have knocked my mum over about 8 or 9 times. And somehow I didn't get hit by the car once, so I don't know how she managed that, but she did. And we got to the road, and there was hardly any traffic. It was dead. It was late at night, and we seen one car coming. So he's now having to scramble down the end of the beach to come out the entrance, and my mum's in the middle of the road, half naked, flagging this car down. He jumps out of the car. He said, "Calm down, I'm an off-duty police officer." So he said, "Get in the car." Got in the car, she's covered in blood. I'm screaming. And he speeds up, jumps out the car. He's now started kicking the car. He got back in his car, ran the back of the car. And that was kind of like the initial start to the relationship coming to an end, although it didn't for still a number of years, unfortunately. But that was kind of the process. The police took it further and they arrested him. So that was kind of my entry level into mental health. All aside to that, my dad wasn't very well. He was drinking a lot. And I was trying to study for my SATs. What is it? SATs. I was trying to study for my SATs. And my dad died. So my dad died. I was 11. Dad died. And that just completely spiraled me out of control.
So did you still have a good relationship with your dad?
My dad was beautiful. I seen him every weekend. He was a beautiful man.
How did he feel about, obviously, your stepdad? Was he aware?
Did he know?
He was. I can't remember. I think if he was aware, my dad was a bit of a handy lad back in the day, but he'd absolutely ruined his body. He'd been in and out of hospital. He was so overweight.
He wasn't in a great condition. He
wouldn't have been able to deal with it anyway. So obviously when he passed away, well, I'm in year 6 now, and I'm studying to do my exams, and I'm trying to get prepared to go into high school, and it was just crap. Like it was just hard. Yeah. So at 11, I'm going into high school, and I've already experienced some serious traumatic stuff. You know what I mean? All aside to that, I'm trying to protect my brother. I'm trying to protect my mum, and then that fear of her getting with other people led to me becoming extremely overprotective, to a point where I became quite a violent person, and I would later on get kicked out of high school for fighting and other things, which then took me into a place of, well, everything else has failed me, so, well, I might as well just start selling drugs and hanging around with the wrong type of people and doing what I was doing, you know, and that kind of spiraled from that point. Now, I was never a drug taker. I liked making money from a young age, and I suppose one of the things that I never really spoke about this because I never thought I was like a gangster or anything.
Yeah.
I was just a 16-year-old lad. I was just a hustler. Yeah. And I liked making money, and I liked the fact that I could get people to do things for me. And I was sat in my bedroom. I thought, well, this is sound. I can just make money, and I can just get other people to take the risk. And I suppose that taught me the foundations of business, really. But in some funny way. And I could manage money, and I could deal with money, and I knew how to make money, and I knew how to make more money, and I knew how to buy stock and sell it for more. And so I kind of learned that side to it. But from a mental health standpoint, my parents had failed me. The education system failed me. And I was just lost. Low income family. I had no money. We had no money. I was wearing other people's clothes. Could never get my hair cut. So I was overweight. I was always the smallest lad in the year. None of the girls fancied me in school. I was always in the friend zone. Do you know what I mean? I never got a Valentine's card, and I always had the one girl in the year who was like proper. And I have nothing against gothic people or anything, but I'd always have the one girl who was like, no one wanted to have fancy them, would be obsessed with me.
Nice.
And so
the misfits, like,
but I just never fit in. I always didn't fit in. I was never normal. I was always told, you're mad, or I say things that other people won't say, or and later on in life realised that I'm probably autistic or ADHD, and that's why I'm now on the pathway for that diagnosis.
Do you know what though, on that front, in terms of people saying you're mad, like you say things you would say, things like as in like you've got no filter basically. I think that probably comes from the desensitization to like harsh things like the violence.
For sure.
Like things other people would be offended by, you're not, because you've seen a lot worse. That's like isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. It absolutely destroys you. But I didn't know. You know, telling my dad, taking beers off my dad and saying, go and have a shower at 8 and 9 years old. What? Why am I telling my dad to go and have a shower and go and wash? Like I'm 8.
Yeah.
This is like what. So with mental health, I think people can suffer from mental health for different reasons. And I think one of the big ones is like the cards that you dealt. Some people just have worse circumstances from a young age, especially that age you said, which is a really pivotal age between like, what is it, like 6, 7, 8, because that's when your mind's still impressionable, and those traumatizing moments are then embedded in your subconscious and then play out later in your life for some reason or another, and then you'll have issues around like protection and being protected because you felt vulnerable at that time when you were younger, and then that plays out when you're older. And so mental health can come from a lot of people's childhoods, actually, probably where some of it stems from. And do you think like that's to overcome the mental health, sometimes you have to go back, dive back into the past and say, where's this all come from? Or is that not necessarily true?
No, not for me. I think starting business completely eliminated the mental health side of things for me. But no, I've just struggled with it. So my mum and stepdad had an argument one night. My mum's called me crying. He's gone off his head. He's just smashing his stuff up. Now, to everyone in the room and everyone listening, he didn't touch me mum. He'd had loads of bevies. They'd been on a night out, they'd had an argument, and he was throwing a sulk and smashed his own stuff up. But I only saw what I saw when I was 7.
It's a trigger, isn't it? And
I went and hurt him badly, and really hurt him badly. And he's married my mum, and he's a good man, and I feel guilty for that.
Wow. But
because that triggered something in my head, my mum's jumped out of a taxi one night when she was single, after my dad had died, and this idiot had gone. I was probably about 13, 14, and I see when my mum would go out for a drink with her mates, I'd sit in the window all night. I wouldn't relax. I'd be in the window in the bedroom, and I'd be watching out the window all night till she got back. And one night I saw a taxi driver. Obviously, probably been trying to flirt with my mum. She'd have a bit to drink, and he's got out the taxi and he's like gone in to kiss her. I said, "Oh hell, I was 14." He got destroyed. And there's probably been situations where we've tried that on with a girl, right, or something. He was just trying his luck. But
when you've seen what you've told us that you've been through and things like that, it's not. If you've heard the argument, if you've seen any violence or anything like that, it's not even a thought, is it? It's an instinct.
It's an instinct.
It's completely like.
Absolutely.
It happens, and then you're like, oh shit.
If a lion sees food, it's going for
exactly.
It. And now, like later on in my life, if I care about you, I will give my life to you.
I'm the same.
I will protect you by any means. I will do anything to protect you. 10 men walk in this room and they try and hurt you. I'm with you. I'm not running. I'm with you. And that's dangerous. It's dangerous. It's put me in a lot of situations, a lot of dangerous situations, especially when I was doing illegal activities. It's put me in a lot of dangerous situations where I should have not been involved or walked away or run away. And I didn't. I would move forward. And it made things very dangerous for me. And I made a lot of enemies, and it's took me a long time to kind of rebuild those relationships with people now.
So obviously your childhood was like tarnished and with all these traumatizing events and all this, like it is abusive. So what do you think the difference is between you choosing a path that's positive or going down the other path where you could have gone down a negative, where a lot of people could have easily gone down from the resentment that they would have held on to? Like, you know what I mean? Because some people probably do have there's a fork in the road where some people will go, do you know what? Life isn't fair. I'm going to just do whatever by any means necessary. And I don't care. I'm going to put myself first or whatever. What's made you choose a positive path?
So I said it in my interview with Sefton Council. And I said, if we focus on the past, we'll never move forward with the future. And if we hold on to the things that have happened to us, we can suffer and react, or we can be proactive and we can nip it in the bud. If something grows, it's too late. If you cut it at the root from the beginning, and you learn from it and adapt and teach my children how not to do things or how to do things, then that I suppose that's the difference for me.
But is it innate, like when because you've now done a lot of positive things, you're a good person. Like what
was there a turning point?
Yeah, like
because I don't know. I think there's a point that you get to where you either go, oh my God, all this stuff's happened. What am I going to do? Or you go the other way and you go, right, all this stuff's happened. I've seen what I do not want to end up like.
Yeah, because
some
like people go through that, and that's their excuse for getting in trouble, criminal world, and then going down the wrong path. Yeah, so is it a choice? Is it a conscious choice?
Yeah, it's a conscious choice, But I think...
But why do some people go that way and some people go the other way?
Because people can't let go.
Yeah, let go.
People hold on.
Right.
And people... I for a long time, I felt very sorry for myself. And I felt like people should feel sorry for me. And that whenever I wanted to do something in life, I wanted to cut corners. When I learned how to play guitar, I learned the quickest way. When I want to lose weight, I try and do it the quickest way. By taking bloody crap that's just going to make things 10 times worse. I never ever wanted to take the long way. I always wanted to take the short route, the quick way. And I wanted people to feel sorry for me. And that turning point for me was going through family court.
Okay, yeah.
So I changed throughout my life from 19, 20, 21 to 2 to 3 19 to 21 I was in a relationship. As soon as I was out of that relationship, I went back to that old life.
Yeah.
Doing what I was doing when I was 16. Again at 21 to 25, I was back in that, back in that situation, that rut, hanging around with good people, just stuck in a routine that I still speak to now, and they're great lads, but they're still doing the same thing. And I fell straight back into that. So I suppose there was always like falls, but what really the turning point for me, where I feel like I changed as a person, was going through family court.
Right, okay. So I want to get to that where we get to your family court thing, but I want to know at what point in your life the mental health issues started kicking in. So what did that manifest as?
Soon as I went through what I went through with the physical violence, and looking after my dad, I didn't know it was mental health.
Yeah.
But obviously, looking back now as a 34-year-old man, I know that I was suffering mentally from such a young age.
But did you go through depression? Was there like a depression element to it?
I was really badly behaved.
Okay, so that's how it manifests through bad behaviour.
Bad behaviour.
And that's your coping mechanism.
That was my So rather than asking for help, I'd tell a teacher to do one.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be so polite about it, or I'd put something.
Anger.
I'd hit something.
Yeah.
I'd have holes all in my wall at 9, 10 years old. All I had in me was anger. All I wanted to do was hurt people. I didn't want to.
But behind the anger, you're actually upset, because that's what it's saying. So that is the mask that people put on.
Yeah.
So you see all these like younger lads that may be lashing out aggressively, but really behind that,
it comes from mental protection.
Yeah,
it comes from the protection thing. I think you, from being a kid and seeing certain things happening and not at the time being able, because I bet now, I mean, I don't know what's the mental state you're in now, but I bet if you were back in them situations, it wouldn't have been the same thing.
No.
So I bet it could, a lot of like the lashing out and that type of thing will, I think, come from the overprotection, because you 100%. Just want to protect the way that you couldn't sort that out. Well, guess what? I'm bigger now, and I'm stronger now, and I'm sorting this out.
Oh yeah,
and no one will do that again. No one will do that again.
Yeah.
No one. And that mentality will always remain. No one will hurt my children. No one will hurt my partner. No one will hurt my mum. No one. Brother, no one.
I think I think a lot of the resilience that you end up with from that type of situation comes from the do you remember saying the desensitization?
Yeah.
So you've seen worse. You get that thing where you're able to keep going and keep going, and you end up looking after everyone else because it's easier to solve everyone else's problems than to look at your own.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like it's also made you who you are now. Where if you would have took it the wrong way, you know, you could have been resentful and gone down another path. But it's actually turned, and because you've overcome it and faced it, now it's made you the person you are. Whereas some people might not ever overcome it.
No.
Some people don't get past it.
No, they end up in jail.
There's no turning point.
Yeah.
And like, and that's the difference between someone that's embraced it and transmuted it into what you've done now, and then there's other people that can't seem to. Just
but I've not done it with intention.
Yeah,
I've not thought, oh, I'm going to get my life on track and sort it out.
But that's what I was going to ask you. Like, where's the turning point?
It just happens. But the turning point for me was family court.
Yeah,
and I won't go into too much I won't go into any detail about the family court journey.
Okay. Is this your lowest point? Is this the lowest point?
Yeah, and it was COVID.
Right. Okay.
COVID.
Because that affected a lot of people's mental health, didn't it? Big time.
The COVID lockdown I was quite happy with. I quite like being on my own.
Yeah.
I quite like sitting in a room on my own. I can't lie about that.
Me too. You know?
I was buzzing.
Yeah.
It was the contact. And out of complete respect to my son and my son's mother, I won't go into the details. Me and her get on really well. We have a really good relationship now. But for me, I suppose part of going through what I went through, and I'll discuss about how it made me feel and stuff, was actually at the end of it, or it got to a certain point in my journey where I forgave everyone for what they were saying about me and for what I was going through. Whether it was my fault or their fault, I forgave them. And I'm not a religious person or anything like that, but I just had to forgive them in my mind. And for some reason, that just worked for me. And I just thought, do you know what? I'm going to remove all of my hate towards you, and I'm going to forgive you. And I don't care about it.
Just like that.
Just like that.
It's powerful, that, yeah, because you lose all that resentment, and don't you? Because you've built it all up.
Yeah, and the word, and you know, protective, being protective. My first little boy is my world because I never got to go for a beer with my dad. Yeah, I got to see him drink lots of beers. Yeah. I never got to go for a beer with my dad. Yeah. I never got to go on holiday with my dad. Well, I did, but locally, you know, at a holiday park. And I can't really remember it, and all I did was drink.
So you want to make sure your kid has the opportunity to be the kid, not the parent.
Exactly. Yeah. So when I would like to consider myself a good dad. I am heavily involved with, you know, putting them to bed, making sure they get to school, discipline, all of that stuff. I'm heavily involved, you know, and so when I lost that, I couldn't deal with it. I completely shut down, and things got very dark. I'd lost my dad. I'd watched my mum nearly get killed. I nearly got killed. Walk in the park, no problem. Because I could use these to protect myself from anybody doing that to my mum again. Easy. But this, I had no control over it whatsoever. I had certain aspects of that journey that just prevented me from seeing him. And, you know, what we all want for our children is safeguarding, right? Yeah. You know, that is so important. And sometimes it's overkill. But if there was a child in danger, I'd be like, they need to be safeguarded. Yeah. So whether something's true or not, they have to safeguard a child. Yeah. Which is the right thing to do. From my point of view, somebody who just wanted to see the son and loved him and would never do anything to bring him harm or anything, I could not wrap my head around it.
That's mad, yeah. So it's the same theme again, where you're powerless.
Yeah,
so it's like going back to being powerless.
Gone. I was a 7-year-old boy.
So
again.
Is that what brought it back? So is that so what's happened is you've grown up first 10 years of life, you're in powerless situation with the PTSD, you're traumatized. Down the line, suddenly you get put in a powerless situation again. Yeah. Things are all back. The feeling's back. 100%. Is that what it is? Wow.
100%.
That's mad. That's
And
the theme.
I couldn't do anything. I had to grow my hair, do drug tests, show that I wasn't on anything. I grow my hair. They took 8 inches out of my hair. It's no longer than yours.
George
Good, by the
Michael.
way. Mine wasn't looking that good though, lads. Mine was heavy.
And this gets wild.
But I was so determined.
Takes a lot of maintenance.
Is that why you're out there for 30 minutes?
Yeah, that's it.
Right.
Hair and makeup before
Right.
yeah.
Right.
He's got his own
Um,
routine.
But I think for me, it got to a point where I'd met my new partner, my current partner. I'd met her, and she had a daughter who was 3 days older than my little boy. Same year, same month.
Yeah.
March 2018, 3 days apart.
Funny that, yeah.
And I wasn't seeing my little boy,
Mm.
and she doesn't see her dad for several reasons. And I suppose my current partner at the time wanted her little girl to just have a active role model, and I struggled to be that. I completely detached myself from her complete. I just couldn't do it. And it created a lot of friction with me and my partner, because I tried. My partner's that laid back. She pretty much lying down all the time. She's so sound.
Yeah.
She's so sound.
Yeah.
But this was infuriating because this was her little girl,
Yeah.
and she could see me, and she knew I was a good person, but I didn't want to be a dad.
Why do you think that was?
Because I couldn't even be a dad to my own flesh and
Yeah,
blood.
Yeah.
So how can I be a dad to somebody
Almost feels
else's?
like wrong, doesn't it?
I felt like I was doing an injustice to my
Justice
little
to you,
boy.
yeah.
I didn't feel, I wasn't right mentally. So it come to a point where we nearly split up quite early on, and I needed her. She was my rock. So thankfully she told me she was bloody pregnant, so she couldn't get rid of me then. Which actually
So you were
was really, well, I was in, but actually, I'm glad that at the time I was fuming. I didn't want to have another kid.
Yeah.
Again, I'm going through family court. I just want my little, but I don't want it.
Yeah.
So when she told me, she filmed the reaction. It was the worst reaction.
Oh dear. Oh,
It was awful. I really lost my head.
You still got that video?
Yeah.
Insert fit now.
It was bad. It wasn't good. I didn't go off the rail. I just went in myself and
Yeah.
walked off, and I had to sit down. My head in my hands. I couldn't deal with it because I didn't want another kid.
Yeah.
I wanted my little boy back. I don't care about it. But actually, the blessing in disguise was the fact that it kept us together,
Mm-hmm.
which I'm very happy about now.
Yeah.
So, but one night in the flat, it was a weird scenario. So my little brother was living in New Zealand through COVID. He only went for 2 years, but because of COVID, they extended it by 2 years. They wouldn't let anyone in or out of New Zealand. It was like
Lockdown.
real lockdown. I think it was
I
bad
remember.
here.
Australia and New Zealand were bad.
You can't even get in their country when there is no.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So, like, it was hard. He was living out the back of a van. We would go months without speaking to each other, me and Rob. And I was a really low point of everything. I just could not see the future of having my little boy back. I just couldn't see it. And I knew in my mind that I didn't want to be here anymore. And so I'd kind of planned it in my head. I wrote it down.
That's dark though, isn't it? To plan it in your head.
In my head. I was like,
Committing
I'm
to
going to wait for everyone to fall asleep and I'll just go. So that's what I did. And I've suffered with mental health from a young age, remember. So doctors have said to me, have you ever had suicide? No.
Yeah.
No, I dealt with it. I'm a man. I dealt with it, man. You know what I mean? Like, I battered him.
Yeah.
That's how I dealt with it.
Yeah.
No one hurts my mum like I'm sound. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
I've known people who've tried to commit suicide. Couldn't quite get my head around it.
No.
Knew mental health was a thing because I lived and breathed it, but actually
Didn't identify with it fully.
I always thought
you weren't it.
it can't be that bad that
Yeah.
you want to take your own life.
Yeah.
But this time,
Yeah.
I got it.
Yeah.
I got it.
Yeah.
I was feeling it. I put my clothes on, and bearing in mind, me and my brother hadn't spoke for about 2 months. I was going through family court, but we've never really had that. We're close, but we're not like, hi man, how are you? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We just get on with our lives. He's a man, I'm a man. He's working, I'm working. Do your own thing.
Yeah.
And I got up 2 a.m. Well, I didn't even get up. I didn't even wake up. I was awake all bloody night. Partner was asleep. The little girl was asleep. And I got my clothes on. And my plan, I didn't know what I was going to do. But I knew I was just going to go and do what I had to do. And I didn't want to come out. I was not coming home. And got me clothes on, and my phone pinged. It was 2:30 in the morning. So I think it was like 2 o'clock in the afternoon for my brother. And he just texted me saying like how proud he was of me and that I'm an inspiration. My brother doesn't say anything nice to me.
Yeah.
We had the conversation yesterday, and me saying, lad, you never say like you're smashing it, I'm bringing all this business in, I'm doing this. You never tell me that I'm doing things right or I'm killing it.
Yeah.
Like, why, lad? You can't hate me that much.
Yeah.
Like, that's the relationship we have. Do you know what I mean? Yesterday.
Yeah.
But that morning, he texted me saying what he said about him being proud of me, that I'm an inspiration, and whatever happens, keep going.
Wow.
And I just took my clothes off. I had a bit of a cry to myself, and I don't cry. And I just thought, he's right. I've got to keep going. And that was the turning point for me. And the next day I told Rosie what I was going to do. Obviously she was quite upset about it, and I suppose telling people I was going to do it, people think the automatic reaction is to think, it's a load of rubbish.
Yeah.
Because that's what I did.
Yeah.
I've done it myself.
Yeah.
And I've suffered with mental health, and I still didn't believe people,
Yeah.
but it was real. I wasn't coming home, and for whatever reason, my brother sent that message. My brother's very religious now. He went to New Zealand not religious. He's come back very religious, and so he's saying it's God. Now I'm not religious, but I don't judge anyone. I'm not.
Yeah.
Whatever. We all do our own thing, right? But for whatever reason, he messaged me, and that kept me here. And it was from kind of that point that I moved forward, and I was unstoppable.
Yeah.
Every hurdle that got put in front of me, I jumped over it. Every hoop, I went through it. I went hiking. I was 23.5 stone. I went with a local group called Joe's Giants. Don't know if you've heard of them. They're run by Fitz. I don't know if he's still doing anything with it anymore, but actually that was a big part of mental health, and his goal was to try and talk to the mountains. And going up the Old Man of Coniston as my first hike, I had all the gear and no idea. I spent all my money on this bloody walking equipment, and I'm not fit, and I struggled, and it was 4 hours up, 4 hours down, and I got to a point where I just couldn't do it. And he's like, you can do it. He motivated me, and I went, do me a favour, lad. I said, swear at me, tell me I'm this, that and the other. Tell me I'm a failure, tell me I can't do it, and tell me my little boy is on top of that hill.
Yeah.
And he went, are you sure?
Mm.
And I said, tell me he's on that hill, and tell me I can't get to him. And he told me I couldn't get to him, and he told me he was on that hill, and I ran up that fucking hill.
Wow.
And I ran down it. A lot quicker than 4 hours as well, by the way. Big guy, I was like bloody on top of the world after it, not whilst I was there. But like that, I didn't get into fitness after that at all. I've only just done that recently, thanks to you. But
Big up, level up chips.
no, seriously, yeah. But I think that was the turning point for me. That journey through family court, as much as it was an inconvenience in my life and was the worst experience of my life, it actually taught me a lot about myself. It told me how resilient I am as a person, how I can adapt and move, and rather than reacting with anger, react with logical thought process and think about things. Don't get angry. My first reaction is to use these, right? Not anymore. I think logically, I think clear, anger clouds your judgment. And what that taught me is it taught me all of those things.
Yeah.
And actually, I'm grateful for it because I feel like I'm a better person.
Yeah. I think it's amazing. I want to go back to your brother texting you at that time in the morning, the timing, and that probably changing the trajectory of your choices. But I think that just reinforces what we just saw before. Like before the podcast starts, obviously, we were meant to have someone else on the podcast and battling with mental health, and you know, oh, who is this? All right, Pat.
Oh, you might disturb me.
Yeah, we're just in the middle of a podcast.
Shit, I'm just doing math, sorry.
No, it's okay, Pat. Don't worry. Do you know what? You'd be great to have on here anyway. We don't have to be right now, but
I'll go like this.
look,
How's that?
Pat is someone we should absolutely get on here. He's got an amazing story, but
Really sorry to bother you.
That's okay.
slightly confidential story as well.
Right. Yeah, I'm a hairdresser.
Yeah.
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 Sorry.
That's Pat getting an ice bath. You know.
You let him scream in the background.
Yeah. But like back to what I was saying about the text message and the timing of the text message. Yeah, and before we were gonna have a guest on, weren't we? And he's dealing with his own battles right now. And I watched you go out there and say things to him that I was not equipped to say to him at that moment in time, which I commend you for. And also Rick, you had a word with him, and again, I know Rick's had his own journey in his life, but you know, having those words with someone at that moment in time when things come to a head in their life and the pressure's on them can be the difference maker. And so I just think it's amazing that you know that happened to you. So now, is that what you do to other people? You have that word with them and you say, listen, speak, tell me, talk.
Yeah.
And if you need to talk, make sure you do and don't stay quiet.
I had no one there doing that for me.
Yeah.
And I think maybe if I did, well, I had Rob do it on a text message, but actually I think if I did, it'd probably help me a little bit more. And we never truly know what's going on with someone that you sat in a room with. We are social beings. We socialise. We thrive off socialising and interacting. Yet we don't interact and we don't socialise.
Yeah.
Make it make sense. So
we've lost it, haven't we? Like I feel like the culture is built like that. Yeah.
And as much as these are really good tools, I'm a people's person.
Yeah, you can't interact like this. There's no use being able to interact on that.
No.
That'll get you nowhere. No. In this scenario,
you're a catfish if you can do it on that and you can't do it in person.
Yeah.
You're not real.
But I think a lot of people struggle to understand mental health until one day they wake up and they go, why is my heart beating really quick? And why can't I breathe properly? What's going on here? And the experience and it hits you like
stress. Anxiety.
Yeah.
All these people just think mental health is depression.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah. I think a lot of men deny the acknowledgement of mental health. Yeah. And I think that's the problem because
maybe feel emasculated by
it's a part of it. And you know, when they say mental illness, it's an illness for a reason.
And you don't want to be labelled as well. It's there's a labelling element to it where
9 times out of 10 you don't even know that you're sick.
Yeah.
Like until you go, like for example, have you had suicidal thoughts? No. And you might not have done to that point, but it takes you to get to the bottom to realise where the bottom is, and then to go, oh, I get it now. I get how someone can be so low that they think it'd be easier not to be here and to push through. And I think that is a massive turning point as well. I think that's a massive point where you go, well, I've been at the bottom, can't get lower than here now. There's got to be a way out.
The only way is
with any illness, there's a way out.
The only way is level up, PolyUp. The only way is up.
That's
The only way is up.
yeah.
The only way is up, and that is so true.
It is.
So true.
You've got to build, haven't
We've
you?
we've got to find something that we
Well,
love
that's
doing.
what I was going to
Yeah.
come on to. This brings us perfectly in because I was going to ask you
Yeah.
about how you've used PolyUp as your outlet and
Yeah.
business as your outlet out of it. Is it having a purpose, having something to build, and having it? Does that is that what creates fulfillment? Is purpose what is the remedy
Yeah,
to a lot of mental health issues?
yeah. Because I think if I can put my family in a position where we are financially free, which is something I've never had,
Yeah.
I can live quite comfortably on a breadline and below it.
Because
Yeah.
you've been
Put me there any day of the week and I'll outlive most people.
Mm.
Been there, done it all my life. Did it the whole time, starting the business, eating out of food banks, being in an overdraft every month, like struggling to pay my mortgage. Done it, been there,
Yeah.
live it, been there, done it. But actually, what that's going to allow me to do is when I'm running a business and I am financially free,
Yeah.
which I will be at some point in time in the future.
I tell myself the same.
Yeah, we'll get there. I'm then in a position where, there's a saying that you can only work on others when you've worked on yourself or something along those lines.
Yeah.
We were talking about it before. You can't help other people until you help yourself. So
Fill your own cup.
So my business is my wake up 7 a.m. till 12 at night. You'll find me doing something to do with my business, and I love it. It's not a job. I don't work a day in my life.
Yeah.
I love what I do.
Yeah.
I get to go and do things like this. I get to meet people. I'm a board member of the British and Irish Trade Alliance. Massive, the youngest board member, and I'm like
flex.
sitting with successful people, and it is the sickest flex.
It's a flex.
But I'm getting to sit with
Yeah.
people who are successful, positive, healthy. The mindsets are dangerous,
Yeah.
and I am them.
And is that something that also helps them? Because now we're talking about your environment and who you're positioning yourself around with will make an impact on your mental state.
You're the total sum of the 5 people you surround yourself with.
Yeah, 100%.
Because some people
Like attract like.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
And then this is the other spiral that people are stuck in. So if people got in a negative spiral with themselves, and then it's hard to dig themselves out of it. Obviously, they're the only ones that can get themselves out of it. But then, if you keep wallowing in that forever and ever, you're in this unbroken cycle.
What did I say earlier on? I felt sorry for myself. I wanted other people to feel sorry for me.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm skint and I'm fat and do something about it.
Yeah.
Do it.
Mm.
We can sit here and moan about it all day. I've done it.
But it's not
But
growing.
do it.
Yeah. You
But-
gotta be.
Man, you can't understand that until you do it.
Mm.
So it's doing it, and that's what we need to break. It's that phase of I can't do it, to how do we get them to start doing it?
Yeah.
As soon as they start doing it, they'll carry on doing it
Yeah.
because they took that step to start doing it.
So what's like advice that you give to get someone out of that negative spiral?
Surround yourself with people who are successful,
Wow, yeah.
who live a healthy lifestyle, who are positive. And if that means cutting family members off and close mates, do it. And that is another thing that I always say, do it.
Yeah.
Why are we still talking about it?
So it's accountability, taking accountability for your situation, the people you hang around, making a conscious choice saying, are they good for my best interest, or are they not? And if they're not, then maybe you have to be honest with yourself, cut them out of your life, and then start surrounding yourself with the people that you want to be like, and emanate with that.
For sure.
That's probably
I'm going for food tonight with an old school friend of mine who is extremely successful. I'm going to go and have a meal with him tonight. No beers, nothing. Just a nice healthy takeaway.
Yeah.
Chicken.
You know what I mean?
So you said take them too quick.
Quick.
I'd taking them to a nice place.
I'm not going to
I'm
talk
gonna
about
tell Rico about this.
But, did that door open?
Yeah, this is a ghost now. It's
Oh,
packed.
God. What was that? But I'm going there because I know how successful he's got. He's got that mindset that I'm just talking about, right?
Yeah.
He's got that same mindset, that positive mindset, that can-do attitude, that do-it attitude. So you've got to make time for them people as well.
Yeah.
And it's not about cutting people off completely. Like, if your mum's negative, don't just stop speaking to them the rest of your life.
Yeah.
But move yourself away. If you're seeking, your family will never truly have your back with business because they don't get it. They're proud of you.
Yeah.
They want everything to go well, but they don't truly get it. But you go through the same shit that I go through. Different businesses, but you still go through the same shit. You fight the same struggles in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
So we need to spend more time together.
Absolutely, yeah, because there's overarching themes that both of us would be facing. And,
Right.
And by sticking together, you can then overcome things because you can bounce off each other, regulate yourselves off each other.
Yeah.
The only problem is you have those people that, sometimes you've got people that suffer in silence and they won't say anything to anyone.
Yeah.
And then you've got people that are where it almost becomes their identity, and they and then you try and regulate with them and try and give them, but then it's only so much you can do to change them, and then they've got to find it in themselves because only themselves.
Of course, and there's got to be a line, right? So I'm really passionate about helping people, but it's also there's only so much that we can do and say before it starts affecting us as well.
Yeah.
And the same thing applies. If they're at that point where it's like there's no helping somebody, you've also got to move back,
Protect your own energy.
you've got to protect your own mental space as well. And as hard as that is, it's so important because unfortunately there is people that will suffer in silence. But I think the biggest thing to do is ask for help, and that isn't saying, "Can you help me?"
No.
That's somebody sending me a message saying, "Hiya Lewis, I seen your story on Sefton Council, Stand Up for Southport, and I just want to say how much of an inspiration you are. I've been going through some shit myself."
Yeah.
That's asking for help.
Yeah.
Now we're
so
talking.
many little things that are signs for
I've had
help
that.
people don't clock onto.
I had that the other day.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's nice.
And I had somebody message me about a year and a half ago. They messaged something similar. It was completely different, obviously, not an article that was written about me. But then the next morning I got a message saying, "You saved my life last night. I just want you to know how much I love you." And I just think,
wow.
But that wasn't me, lad. That was you, because you asked for help. As much as he thinks that was me, that was him.
Yeah.
And that's what I said to him. That was you, man. That wasn't me. I was just here for you. That was you. You reached out to me. You saved yourself.
Yeah, like for myself, I can't. It's hard for me to relate to people that have had worse circumstances than me, and I think that's something probably that's a coping mechanism. You could always think, well, there's someone in the world that's got a worse situation than us. You can always find someone who's got a worse situation, but doesn't obviously negate the fact that your own situation is rough. I've not personally dealt with anything like severe or trauma-wise in my life, so from my point of view, I would never know what it's really. Yeah, I have to go through the anxieties and things like that, and what we all go through, but like I don't carry any of those things. So there's like it's not hard for me to understand. I totally understand, but at the same time, I haven't been through it, so I don't know. But is there a argument that sometimes so the life that you get given, some people are going to get a harder life than others, and that's going to play a big part in it. Like I've been very fortunate. I feel like I've been fortunate in lots of ways.
I do though.
Yeah, exactly.
There's people worse off than me.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So you can always think of someone worse off than yourself.
Yeah.
And that's what, and sometimes that can help because you haven't got it the worst.
Yeah.
But I know it doesn't also undermine the
fact
that
it doesn't make it better.
Yeah, it doesn't make it better. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you can't put your problems aside because of
someone else's. Yeah, exactly.
Like even though anyone who knows me and has known me around the gym knows my character.
Yeah,
you know what I'm like. I'm fucking loud, all over the place, all this type of thing. But behind closed doors, and I'm not getting.
But they say some of the happiest. This ain't the happiest people.
I've struggled with bits and bobs
Yeah.
over the years, and it's weird because I think when you can see it in other people so much easier.
Right.
It's such a big thing, and like I personally don't. Well, I do get, because when I was younger, I used to deny it and hated the fact that, like, oh, I'm dealing with this, I'm dealing with that, anxiety wise, even still now, through the roof. It's just that you learn to cope with it. But like, oh god, I think there's so many people who we speak to day to day who you can't see it, and they won't ask for help.
No.
There's such a stigma around asking for help or letting other people know that you've got a problem.
It
makes
feels
you
like a
less
weakness.
tough.
Yeah.
It's like you're not a man because you've got this going on, but it's not true.
Listening as well. So the gent before, you know, just let them talk.
Yeah.
When they start talking, let them talk, because it's them getting it off.
Yeah.
And even if what they're saying is a load of rubbish,
It feels good for them. It's therapeutic for them.
They're offloading all of that crap on you,
right?
And they can do that all day to me, no problem.
That's definitely true. I think speaking about it is encouraged, and you know, like if we have the room here, we can hold the space for each other, be vulnerable and talk. And I think that stigma needs to disappear, where men can actually like say, look, I'm going, because the statistics show that like most mental health is suffered by men. I think I've got the stat here actually. I think it's something like men account for 75% of suicides in the UK. Suicide rates are highest in men aged 40 to 49, but rising in the 20 and 29. So even younger men are now suffering. But I just think that's an unbelievable statistic.
It's crazy.
75% of suicides in the UK are men. So
that's there's 4 of us here. That's 3 of us.
Yeah, that's like 3 out of the 4.
You're on your own.
That's big.
I'm okay with that.
But it also says in areas of poverty, mental health issues increase by up to 250%.
Yeah.
So your circumstances that you're born into, definitely. But the thing is, you could hold on to that and use that as your. See, I can't say because I didn't have that situation, so it's easy for me to say. But the only way out of it is through yourself and saying, even though I've been dealt this bad hand, I've been dealt the bad hand, but how do I play the hand?
Yeah.
And like you've got to try and reframe it, take accountability, and say, right, where I am now is because of my actions. Obviously, some things are predisposed, like where you're born in the family postcode and all that, but then there's other elements where you got to say, well, I could remain powerless to these external factors, or I'm going to take it upon myself and take accountability, and then from this point I can determine my outcome because I can take this into my own hands. Otherwise you're powerless.
You're born with cards, but you're not stuck with the same cards.
No.
At some point the deck needs
I'm not. I'll just buy some more.
Yeah, this is buy another one.
I'll sell them ones.
For more money
and buy better.
But like that goes back into business, and like so do you I think one of the best ways for I don't again see why am I being talking on it when I haven't suffered with it, but I just feel like when I do have anxiety and things like that, I feel like if I've got something to drive for and something, a passion and a purpose that I can put my energy into, it kind of relieves that for me because it feels like I'm accomplishing.
So I've always struggled with my weight. And that's another factor to mental health.
Oh yeah, physical well-being. We haven't even
really is, and which is important for Level Up, right? Because that's what you're helping people with.
Absolutely.
So for me, starting business, so I've gone from 24 stone down to 16 stone, back up to now 23 stone, and I'm now at 21 stone 9 pounds. Right? Some people say you don't look it. You're a big. Well, I am. And I feel it. I can't even put my own socks on without running out of breath. Yeah. I get in the bath with that much water and it overflows. I go to the beach and people are trying to push me back into the ocean. Do you know what I mean? So weight has been a contributing factor to my mental health. And I could have done go to the gym. Now, I've got loads of pals in business now who run massive companies, £1 million businesses. And they're like, get in the gym, lads, you'll feel so much better. And I go, I'm not ready. Not ready for the gym. And then when you did that speech on the day, and I said to you afterwards, so I'll come in and see you. That was like, I'd already a week before. I didn't even know. I didn't even know who was talking. But a week before, I just said to me missus, I went, on Monday I'm going to get myself into shape, start getting into shape. Because what I wanted to do is I wanted to concentrate on the business, get it established, start turning over revenue, and get myself in a position where I can then focus on me. And I have all through my life suffered with my weight, and I've gone to the gym, stopped, gone to the gym, stopped, eating healthy, stopped, But now I've never been so focused on getting myself in shape.
Yeah.
And I know that the benefit of me getting in shape isn't just that I'll be able to put my socks on or stop getting pushed back in the sea or I'll be able to have a bath.
Yeah.
It's that I'll be able to elevate my business to a whole new level. I'm the face of my business. And if I'm a big fat slog and I'm like this, and my business is affected by that.
Yeah.
And nothing will affect all of the hard work that I've done. And if my dad bod is getting in the way of that, it's got to go.
It's mind, body, and soul, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Definitely
It's
is.
gotta
Mental
go,
health
man.
is physical as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
I mean, that's what the gym was all about as well. And there's other people that come here and that's their respite from life, and they come in here and they lock in, and it's like it gives them an outlet. And some people it's social as well, because they might have work and home, but where else do they go? Like, people don't go out as much anymore, so to have social interaction, that's another element of it at the gym, and that's what the community is so important for, because you're also surrounding yourself with a circle of people doing proactive things, trying to make themselves better, which plays into the thing that you were talking about earlier, that you've got to surround yourself with those people. And that's the power of a space like the gym, and then that overspills into other areas of your life. And like you say, how can you be the best version of yourself in business if you're not the best version of yourself within yourself, I guess, isn't it? And that's
but not all gyms offer that either, by the way. I've been to loads of different gyms, and you can chuck me some money later, but actually but it is the atmosphere, and it is the communication when you walk in somewhere, and the are you all right? Can I help? I'm sorry for cleaning the toilet. And when I first come, and the lad, I can't remember.
It's Ollie, I think.
Ollie. He kept apologising for having to go away and clean. I'm like, lad, don't worry about it. But he was so attentive.
Polite.
He was so trying to make sure that I was all right.
Yeah.
And then, stood there this morning. I've come in and just knowing I can come in here for a coffee.
Yeah.
I don't even need to go and do a workout.
Absolutely.
I come in, and I've not done that yet, but I will do that more. Coming in, I didn't know I was sitting on here with you today, and just having a coffee, and I was speaking to a woman. No, Rosie, she doesn't fancy. I was speaking to a woman, and we were having a coffee, and we were talking about mental health.
Yeah.
And then old boy walks in. I don't know his name.
Alan.
And I'm speaking to him.
Yeah.
And
you would be surprised how many people come in just to have a coffee with me.
Yeah.
And
do you know what? That's what I was about to
swear to God, Dan. Tell me, I'm not lying.
That's good.
Sometimes I'll be there for 2 hours on the desk just to talk, and they'll go.
Even if you weren't here, they wouldn't come.
But you know what? I would so much rather, especially if I know someone's going through something or got something on the plate, I would so much rather spend half an hour stood on the desk talking to them, knowing that they might walk away feeling a bit better because of it.
Yeah.
It's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
And it's so inspirational as well for me.
Yeah.
And I don't get the chance to say this a lot, but I've struggled with going to the gym. I'm not. Danny's quite good at being consistent. Rick's quite good at being consistent.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I'll train for 2 weeks like an animal, and I'll run every day, and I'll eat like 200 calories a day, and then I'm like, oh,
and
do you
then
know
your
what?
rotator cuff.
Yeah, my shoulders hurt, and I'm done for 6 weeks, and that's me.
Yeah,
Like, it's coming in and seeing people coming in who have come in, not in a bad way, but have come in wanting to better themselves, and looking at them 6 weeks down the line where they have is so inspirational.
It's also as well. It's routine. having a routine that is in your best interest is going to play a part in how you feel mentally and emotionally, because you've got an outlet. So if someone's in a bad routine or in an environment that made them sick, and you stay in that environment, you're going to remain sick. But if you then obviously get yourself into a new environment and your mind's going, oh, this is a new experience, and then we're getting into like neural plasticity, your mind.
So let's get into that for a minute. Have we got time?
Yeah, absolutely. So, let's do it.
We got right. Okay.
How are we doing, Rick?
1 hour 5.
Wow, nice. This is a record. Yeah.
And I think we'll be ready after this to hit record and do it.
Yeah.
Right, great. Thanks, Rick.
Quality. So I have gout.
Okay.
And I have nociplastic.
It's not like rich man's disease, gout.
Yeah, it's a load of rubbish. Load of rubbish. That was Henry VIII days, that, mate, when they could afford meat. We can all afford meat now, can't we?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I have something called nociplastic as well.
Okay.
Which is a knee condition. It took me a long time to get a diagnosis. I didn't even know what it was. I didn't even know what was going on. So basically, the transmitters in my brain don't tell me when I'm in pain. So they were doing tests on my knee with like sharp objects, and I couldn't, with my eyes shut, and I couldn't feel them doing it.
Yeah.
So that's what helped me get my diagnosis right.
Nice.
And going off what you've just been talking about there is, I've suffered with my knee pain for years. I wouldn't go out and have a game of footy with my lad. I'd just make every excuse under the sun not to do something, because I knew that if I wasn't in pain, when I get back, I'm going to be in pain.
Yeah.
So starting the business, the gym, a big part of it, and the guy who diagnosed with this said a big part of this is mental health, like mentally. If you start going to the gym, start doing this, start doing that, it'll get better. And I thought, what a load of rubbish. It's knee pain.
Yeah, it's physical.
But actually, I can't remember the last time my knees hurt, right? And by no stretch of the imagination is it gone. But I can't remember the last time I struggled with it. The only thing I struggle with now is a bloody bone in my foot that I broke paintballing years ago, which is never going to heal. And that's just a physical. That just broke my leg. Do you know what I mean? That's not a condition.
Yeah.
But that condition is gone because of my mental state now.
Wow.
So things are getting better. It's powerful.
The mind's powerful, so it can affect your physiology.
Yeah.
So doing new routines and doing new creating new habits, can change the wiring of your mind and your brain, and then and eventually new habits, new people, new environment, you become a different person. So 100%. You're not stuck, and the benefit of that is people that might think they're stuck in a situation, actually you put different inputs in, you're going to get a different output. So you're not stuck. You can change and at least make an attempt to change your daily habits. And if you do that,
one thing, just change one little thing.
Yeah, and it can start with one thing, can't it? Because then that will create a
I get up at 10 o'clock every day.
Snowball
get
effect.
Up at 9.
Yeah.
Up at 9. Yeah, get a bit up early. I know.
I have 14 biscuits a day. I have 12.
Yeah. Depends what biscuits.
Just change one thing, and then change another thing, and then you can't do it all at once.
No.
It's like when you advising people on what to eat and stuff. Don't cut down to half a pack of rice straight away.
Don't go cold turkey, basically, because you'll fail and then relapse.
Yeah. So it's a process. It's a routine.
Yeah.
All of these things, no one's lying. No one's making it up. It's all got a.
Yeah, I think it's good to know that there is a way out of it, though. Like, if there's like solutions.
Yeah.
And the way you can get out of it by just changing things that are in your control. It's not out of your control always.
Joining Level Up Gym
is one of the gyms, and that brings us perfectly into that. So join Level Up Gyms, 30 Virginia Street, get down.
Yeah, no, but it has. For me, it's a space now where I can come. My missus doesn't like. She's dead embarrassed when she trains, but she feels okay here.
Yeah, good.
She shuts her eyes and does it, but she'll get better. And
Because that's the other thing, isn't it? It's feeling judgment, and that's a big thing around gym. You feel like you're going to get judged.
Yeah.
And that's
There's none of that here.
We're trying to eradicate that, and we don't want that.
How much are you paying me in a bit for this?
Can you just cut the camera second?
No, but it is. It's again the atmosphere, isn't it? The surroundings, what you're putting yourself in, the people you're putting yourself around. I know I can walk in here again now, and I know more people.
Face it, and that's what
And
relationships so important.
Networking.
Yeah.
Your network is your net worth.
Yes, that's what they say, isn't it? Yeah. You can't heal in the same environment that makes you sick. Discipline is the strongest form of self-love. It's ignoring current pleasure for bigger reward to come. So is discipline the antidote to spiraling? Structure is important. It's true.
It is.
You have to stop. When do you stop blaming and start building?
Yeah.
You know, because that's what a lot of people
You can write your problems off all the time into like out of your control.
Yeah.
Until you take control.
I always think that we have a bill to pay. My family have a bill to pay, and no one's paid that bill.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm not the type of person to walk out without paying a bill. I'm paying the bill. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pay the bill for my family. So that moving forward, we never have to worry about a bill again.
Yeah.
So, that suppose ties in with that.
Absolutely. 1 in 4 people in the UK experience mental health problems each year. Social media, pressure to succeed. Social media plays a big role.
Everyone's ripped.
Because everyone's comparing themselves to people.
Everyone's ripped and has a big bum and
yeah.
It's not real. I'm real. That's real. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
That's real.
Yeah.
Everyone wants a bit of that.
You're always looking at what you don't have and comparing yourself to what you do.
What is it? Comparison is the thief of joy.
Absolutely. That's why you've always got to dial it in.
Fire in here today.
Yeah, some absolute gems, man.
Whoa.
I think you just got to lock in on yourself and make yourself number one priority, and pour into your own cup.
For sure, a close pal of mine, Gaz, he's a DJ. I don't know if you've seen it. He's just been diagnosed with leukemia. He's my age.
Wow.
His life's just changed. He's a DJ. DJ.
Yeah.
I'm not up with all the rap and that, but he's a famous DJ. He DJs for H and all the
rap scene,
D Block Europe and all that. He's done it all.
My cousin's just the same.
He's all over social media, and now his life's just come crashing down.
It's crazy because you just don't know how fast things can change like that.
And if that doesn't put it into perspective for you, then I don't know what will. But you've got to make change now or suffer.
Yeah.
I don't want to suffer.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's inspiring. It is, and it's Mental Health Week, Mental Health Awareness Week this week. And we put that gratitude board at the front there, which is nice, and people putting little things on there.
Nice for your ego.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. Just want to mention that. If anyone else wants to say anything nice about me, the board is located by the desk, and it's That's it. But so it's just reminding people that there's things to be grateful for. Even when it feels like there's no hope or whatever, there's always things you can find to be grateful for. It's all about perspective. You're not powerless. You can really take control of your life and the narrative. If you want to regain that power, you can. You might be dealt cards that aren't playing into your favor right now, but how you play those cards is on you. And if you are struggling, and especially in silence, talk to people, because you'll be surprised how many other people are in the same boat as yourself, and there'll be so many people around you in support networks that'll be willing to give their time and an ear to listen and help you regulate yourself. But at the same time, it's all down to yourself and taking accountability for your position. And you have to think, once you overcome that, it makes you the person you will become, and you become a greater version of yourself. On the other side of the adversity is always a greater version of you, and it all is about how you take that and how you transmute it, I think. But
Agreed.
I think it's amazing because obviously you've a great example where you've had the odds against you early in life. You know, you've had to carry that, and yet you've become the person you are to this day, which you are a fine gentleman.
Yeah.
You are, and I think you're a top guy. We're working on that now, anyway.
Working on it. Come on, Rico.
Come on, Rico. Come on,
Give
shout
it
out
2
to
weeks.
Rico.
We're not there yet, lad.
Yeah. But you have an inspiring story.
Yeah.
I think that's amazing that you're an advocate for mental health. Like I say, what I saw you say before in real time, in action to that other gentleman, got me emotional because I went, wow, I see this in you. I see what you've been through based on that interaction. And I wish people could see that interaction because it's just, and Rick had his moment as well with that. And I just went, wow, like 2 men there that have been through some element of mental health, but have made them these men that they are today. I could see it in that moment, and I was like,
one at a time, man. One man at a time.
Yeah.
And women, but
women as well, of course. We can't forget that.
No, we can't. But and children, but one man at a time. We just got to do one at a time and break it, and we will.
Yeah.
So, but to think that my story inspires people is mad to me.
Well, that's
what I mean. So, I do get it, but to me, it happened. So. It's just life for me. It's normal.
Well, that's the blessing in it, I guess, because now you can help other people that face a similar situation. So it becomes, I see it like a vulnerability becomes your ability. You know what I mean? And you turn it into an ability. So that's something that you have done. And so I want to just say, obviously, to conclude, massive thank you for coming on, and we need to do more of this together.
100%.
I'd love to have you on, and I'd love to do more stuff around mental health with you.
Because
I know you're already doing quite a bit.
No problem.
And I'd love that. And I want to say nice one, Kyle, as well, for co-hosting as well, because it's good having you on, man. Yeah, and I know you're integral to the gym, and you help a lot of people in the gym, and you do. I know you on our front desk. Talking.
Preaching.
Yeah.
Preaching.
Yeah. So I appreciate you for that as well. And
preaching, saving lives, though, man.
It's
important stuff.
So mental health awareness week, guys, and just remember, you don't know who you're talking to, and you don't know what people are going through, and everyone's got their own hardships. And I want to just close out this with saying, just move in love and.
Smash the week.
Yeah.
Grind set. Hashtag get in the gym. Hashtag it's time to go. No, but it just to say as well, if there is anyone who's watching this and is having a hard time, and it's not easy sometimes to admit it even, but we are here. If I'm on the desk, come and speak to me. Speak to Danny, speak to any of us. We're all here.
Danny can bell me, and I'm only over the road. I'll just pop in.
Yeah, we're not
a big hug.
We're not judging anyone for anything, because you can't. If you're going through something, we are here.
Absolutely,
100%.
Have we got any other closing comments? Anything would like to add?
Really like the floor. I know I've said it a lot, but I really like it.
It's pretty cool, isn't it?
What do we think of Rick's sandals? Rick's got his toes out right now.
Yeah.
That's affecting my mental health, to be honest with you.
Well, that's it anyway today, guys. So make sure you like, subscribe, and stay tuned for the next podcast. And just one more shout out to Rick, who's just a legend he is. And I think those sandals look sexy on him. So thanks, guys.